What is up, guys? It's me, BT, and today we're going to be talking about the Xbox One and how it reversed its DRM policies and all that used game restriction nonsense. This is pretty much like my first video game gameplay commentary vlog type thing, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to use some really old footage of me playing some Black Ops 1, the original. So bear with me, alright? If it's not that good, I can see it not being good because it is my first and I'm somewhat new to this. But anyways, let's get going, shall we? Of course, like I stated already, the topic, Xbox One, DRM, used game restrictions. Pretty much this whole last month has been really rough for Microsoft, more specifically the Xbox One, due to a lot of talk about online check-ins, 24-hour online requirements for the Xbox One, and used game fees. It was believed that there would be used game fees, and so you wouldn't just have to pay for the game itself when it's used, you'd have to pay an additional fee. So that was already a big turnoff for gamers. And there's also rumors that it had to be on 24/7. Well, Microsoft pretty much came out and said, no, that's not real. At least not that bad. They pretty much announced that the Xbox One would have to check in every 24 hours. It'd be, I'm not sure how exactly the check-in would work, but they said it'd be really fast and it wouldn't require much internet. But they still said the Xbox One was required to check in at least once every 24 hours in order for you to continue playing your games. Even if they're just offline games, you'd still need that 24-hour period check-in, which I did not like and many others did not like. Another concern gamers had was the used game fees. Well, there was no used game fees, but there's still restrictions. You can only let one of your friends borrow it, and that's it. After that, that game was theirs for good. They couldn't let anyone else borrow it, from what I can understand. There's multiple ways on how to sell them and trade them, I guess. Let people borrow them. There's different steps and rules and guides. It was confusing, and it was just not needed. It was unnecessary. It was a bunch of crap, if you will. It was a bunch of nonsense. There was no fees, but there were just silly restrictions. Let's put it at that. So that didn't go too well over with the fans of gamers in general, and even some Xbox fans weren't too fond of that. I myself am an Xbox fan. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy all consoles, all companies, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, you name it. But even PC. But I tend to lean towards Microsoft and the Xbox. So I was really disappointed in hearing all this nonsense for the Xbox One. Anyways, just yesterday they officially announced that they will be kicking the DRM, which was all the online nonsense. You won't need online to play the Xbox One. The Xbox One can be played completely offline. There will be no 24-hour check-ins, no online checkups, nothing. The only time you're gonna need online is when you set up the console for the very first time. But other than that, you're good to go. You're just gonna have to update your console on the day you buy it. But after that, no online BS. So they kicked that. Everyone was happy. They also kicked the used game restrictions. Now used games work the same as they've always have. You could let whoever borrow it how many ever times you'd like. You could sell it, trade it, whatever. It was the same as it works now for the PS3, for the Xbox 360, even for the PS4. It's all the same as it's always been. I'm sure some developers aren't too fond of that because I hate to say it, but the used game business is in fact killing developers. GameStop is the one in the lead with that. I hate to say it, but it's true. Anyways, that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother blah, blah, blah. So they kicked everything, and they even made it not region locked, so it's region free, I guess you can say. So the Xbox One is no longer region locked. That's another thing they cleared up. So that's really good. So yeah. Anyways, it's not region locked. There is no 24-hour online period check-ins, no online checkups, and there are no used game restrictions whatsoever. It is pretty much Xbox 360, 360 2.0, if you will, because that's how I view it, to be honest. Anyways, that's how I view these new consoles, actually, to be honest. Anyways, what do you think about this? I'm pretty sure they did this because, A, the obvious, the gamers all over the internet were not fond of this, and it wasn't just gamers. After a while, they started leaking into casual, into casuals, if you will, and even they started complaining about it. I had friends that aren't really gamers. They play probably like a game or two a year. That's probably all they buy. It's like, the new Call of Duty and the new Madden. That's about it for the most part. So even they were not showing interest in the Xbox One. So it was spreading everywhere. Everyone was not too fond of this. So, yeah. So obviously that was one of the reasons they had Microsoft decided to pull a 180, Xbox 180. Sorry, I just had to. So yeah, and of course Sony just kicked their ass at E3. Don't get me wrong, Xbox One had some decent exclusives, actually some pretty cool exclusives. Titanfall, that one appealed to me a lot. But they had good games for the Xbox One. It's just those DRM policies and all that BS was a big turnoff for me and many others. Don't get me wrong, they had their ups and downs, those policies and guidelines, but it was still mostly downs more than ups. So yeah, and so Sony kicked their ass in that, and I'm pretty sure Microsoft saw their pre-order sales and probably weren't doing too well compared to the PS4. And I'm pretty sure that scared Microsoft quite a bit. So they pulled a 180, they backpedaled, they backtracked, and they kicked all that nonsense off of the Xbox One. Though they still haven't made anything clear about the Kinect 2.0. I don't know how that's going to work still. Rumor has it that they're going to release different bundles when it actually comes to release date. One will have the Kinect 2.0, one won't, and so on and so forth. So we'll see how that turns out. I hope they do something like that, because personally I can do without the Kinect 2.0. I could care less about that, to be honest. So yeah, hopefully they could kick the two, make two bundles or make two separate deals, one with the Kinect and one without it, so they could be up to par with the PS4 price launch. So that'd be really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much it with the Xbox One. It's been really rough this past month for it, but these last couple of days have been actually pretty good for it. And I think things are looking a bit brighter. I think this is a really great thing, and I'm sure many of you will agree. But I still want to know, what do you think about this? Are you glad to hear this? Will you get an Xbox One? Will you wait at least a year to see if they pan out the flaws and whatnot, drop that price, or maybe even later wait for a slim model, a smaller version? And what about the PS4? Are you gonna get that instead of the Xbox One? Are you gonna get both consoles? Are you gonna get the Wii U? Are you gonna stick with PC gaming? Are you gonna do everything? What are you gonna do? What are your thoughts on the Xbox One? And are you gonna get it or not? And if why and why not, pretty much. I'm gonna get it. I think this is great news, especially for Xbox fans. I'm still going to get a PS4 here in a couple years. I'll probably get the Wii U next year, but this year will be the Xbox One for me, and that's for sure. As of right now, we still have 5 more months. A lot can change for the better or for the worse, so you never know. But at the moment, I'm Xbox One. What are you? What are your thoughts? That was my first video. Hope I didn't bore you guys to death, because I bored myself because I suck at this. But yeah, let me know down in the comments section below and whatnot. And if you enjoyed this, for whatever reasons, go ahead and give it a like, possibly even favorite it if you have a few extra seconds. And if you can and want, subscribe. That'd be a huge help. I'd appreciate that a lot, greatly and deeply. So yeah, thanks for watching, and this was BT, and take it easy, my friends.